In the fitness world, there is, for the most part, a sincere desire to help people achieve their health and fitness goals and maintain healthy habits for a lifetime. With that as the goal, there are also many different approaches to achieving it. There has been a fairly regular debate, at least in my experience online, between two broad camps: mindset on one side and practical on the other. You've probably encountered both sides of this divide. Motivational fitness coaches leaning toward, in quotes, mental transformation on one side, and no-nonsense trainers focusing more on reps, sets, and meal plans on the other. Each camp is convinced the other is misguided, but this debate misses a crucial truth that changes everything about how we approach exercise consistency. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Self-Control, from Fitness to Flourishing. There are those who believe exercise is all about mindset and mental barriers. There are those who consider themselves much more practical, thinking all that mindset talk is ridiculous fluff that distracts from just doing the work. However, understanding mindset reveals why this either-or thinking is fundamentally flawed, especially when it comes to building a lasting exercise lifestyle. And adding to the confusion is how mindset as a concept is understood. My own understanding of mindset crystallized when I applied a technique I've used with other challenging concepts: word substitution. I had trouble grasping value and values in my life until I started using the words excellent and excellence instead. Rather than asking, what are my values, I now ask, if I were an excellent human being, how would I live? What would I do? How would I act? This reframing clarified everything, allowing me to actually live my values and use them in making choices. In the past, I could name them and list them, but I didn't know what to do with them. For that episode, check out Making Your Values Actionable. Using word substitution here helps us see why the fitness debate misses the mark. With mindset, I stripped away all the complex theories and listened to how coaches and even neuroscience researchers actually defined it. The simplest definition emerged. Mindset means how you think about something. In other words, mindset is thinking. Simple as that. Mindset has become this elevated concept that may have simply been rebranded to make people think about it differently. While this rebranding might have helped people grasp the idea from a different angle, it also created confusion by making thinking seem like some separate, special process. When people dismiss mindset work as unnecessary fluff, they're missing something crucial. How you think about exercise, that is, the perspective you hold on it, determines how you take action in that area. At the same time, their argument has validity. When you have a practical fitness goal, you need practical steps to address it. Consider this. If you want to build strength and you're not following a progressive program, don't know what exercises to do, or you're missing key components like proper form, then practically speaking, you should address those missing elements first. Take learning to deadlift, for example. Step 1, learn proper hip hinge mechanics. Step 2, practice the movement pattern with light weight. Step 3, gradually increase load while maintaining excellent form. If the instructions are unclear, missed, or completely wrong, you need those practical steps to do it correctly. This is where the practical approach has a valid point. However, mindset still applies in this technical example. The mindset might sound like, I'm not athletic, or I'm too old to start lifting weights. When something goes wrong during your workout, maybe you struggle with a weight you lifted easily last week, This thinking leads to thoughts like, I'm not cut out for this. I don't have the genetics. What's wrong with me? That's a mindset issue affecting practical execution. Now, if that's not the case, if you're simply missing information about proper form or programming, then providing you the right technique solves the problem. But if you're actually attacking yourself because you missed a workout, wondering, why can't I stick to anything? Then mindset becomes the primary obstacle. How you think about your setbacks becomes the major issue preventing consistent progress. Here's what I'm getting at, and why this matters more than the debate suggests. Mindset is always relevant. Always. Not because it's mystical or separate from practical action, but because every fitness challenge involves a thinking person trying to solve it. Consider these scenarios where mindset invisibly shapes exercise outcomes. Starting an exercise practice. Two people commit to morning workouts. One thinks, I'm building a new habit. Some days will be harder than others. The other thinks, I should be able to do this easily if I really want it. Same practical challenge, completely different approaches to handling inevitable obstacles. Handling plateaus. Two people hit a strength plateau after 3 months of training. One thinks, my body is adapting. Time to adjust my program or be more patient with the process. The other thinks, I'm just not seeing results anymore. This isn't working. The practical solutions available to both are identical, but their thinking determines whether they'll persist and find what works. Missing workouts. Two people skip their planned workout due to a busy day. One thinks, life happens, I'll get back on track tomorrow. The other thinks, I've already blown it. I'm just not disciplined enough. The practical action needed, that is, simply resuming the routine, is the same. But the mindset determines whether one missed session becomes a complete derailment. In each case, the practical tools and steps exist. The difference lies in how each person thinks about the challenge, which directly influences their willingness to persist, try different approaches, and implement solutions effectively. To identify when mindset is affecting your exercise consistency, ask yourself these questions. Am I making this about my character rather than about the process? If you're thinking, I'm lazy, instead of, I haven't found a routine that fits my life yet, mindset is in play. Am I looking for solutions or looking for proof that I can't succeed? Notice whether you're genuinely exploring what might work or collecting evidence of why you are, in quotes, not a gym person. When obstacles arise, do I adjust my approach or attack my identity? Practical thinkers modify their workout schedule, exercise selection, or environment. Limiting mindsets focus on personal shortcomings. When mindset issues aren't present, that is, when you're simply missing information about proper form, effective programming, or time management, then yes, just provide the practical guidance and most people will execute effectively. But when mindset becomes the invisible barrier preventing consistent action, no amount of workout plans or nutrition advice will solve the underlying problem. This isn't new thinking. Aristotle called human beings the rational animal. Rationality involves logical thinking, learning about reality, and then moving through the world with that perspective. Since we are thinking beings navigating practical challenges, our thinking, that is, our mindset, always influences our actions. It's not separate from practical application. It's the foundation that determines whether practical applications actually get implemented. The health and fitness debate assumes mindset and practical approaches are mutually exclusive, but they are complementary aspects of human behavior change. Every exercise challenge involves someone thinking about how to approach it. That thinking can either support or undermine the practical steps available. So the next time you encounter the mindset versus practical debate in fitness, remember, there's no such thing as a purely practical exercise problem. There's always a thinking person trying to solve it. And how that person thinks about the challenge will determine whether the most practical workout plan in the world actually gets followed. Mindset isn't always the primary issue, but it's always relevant because thinking is always involved in human action. In the end, sustainable change happens when clear thinking leads to consistent, effective action. That's it for today. Catch you next time.